and head to the Middle East, where Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visited northern Gaza, while the country's defence minister and top military officials. His office said he received a security briefing on efforts to defeat Hamas and free Israeli hostages. Netanyahu vowed continued pressure on the group, saying hostages must be released and that Israel will achieve all its war objectives. Netanyahu further stated the following.
אני פה עם שר הביטחון, עם מפקדי צה"ל והלוחמים שלנו, הסדיר והמילואימניקים המופלאים. הם עושים פה עבודה נהדרת ברצועת עזה, הם מכים באויב, והחמאס יספוג עוד ועוד מכות. אנחנו עומדים על כך שהוא ישחרר את חטופינו, ואנחנו עומדים על השגת...
Well, this visit came as Hamas rejected Israel's latest ceasefire proposal, which included a push to disarm militant factions in exchange for a permanent end to the war. Meanwhile, Israeli airstrikes killed at least 21 Palestinians, and Hamas said it lost contact with the team guarding a US-Israeli hostage following those attacks. Well, joining us to discuss these latest developments is Rohan Gunaratne, a Middle East expert, joining us from Singapore. Rohan, thank you very much for being here with us this morning. We have to first look at this visit that Benjamin Netanyahu has taken to northern Gaza. What message does that send, given the renewed military operations in the enclave?
Netanyahu is determined to dismantle Hamas. His request is that if Hamas wants a ceasefire, it has to disarm. Netanyahu is also very concerned about the latest information that is Aiden Alexander, a US citizen who has been held, a hostage, who has been held by Hamas. Hamas spokesperson, the Al-Qassam Brigade's spokesperson, said that Hamas has lost contact with the Hamas team guarding the American citizen. So Israelis have, of course, said this is psychological warfare. But certainly, if an American citizen is killed by Hamas, Israel will further step up operations. Israel is fully supported by the United States and by Western countries to dismantle Hamas, because Hamas is continuing to hold Israeli and foreign hostages in Gaza.
Yes, Rohan, looking at now the ceasefire deal and the negotiations that we know have been ongoing, of course, strikes continuing until a ceasefire deal and hostage exchange can be agreed. We've heard that Hamas has rejected the latest ceasefire deal, given the fact that they were open in talking about the fact they were ready to end the war. Why do you think this situation has happened, and what are Hamas looking for?
Israel's thinking is that as long as Hamas exists as an armed organization, exists in power, in governance, that it will pose a threat to the security and stability of Israel. So the latest Israeli strategic calculus and Israeli position is that Hamas should disarm and even surrender. So Israel will continue its operations in Gaza until Hamas holds hostages, remain armed with weapons, and third is that Hamas does not surrender. So the Israeli demands have escalated, and Hamas, of course, has refused to disarm, surrender, or release all the hostages.
Yes, Rohan, we are running short on time, but given your expertise, we do have to talk about the humanitarian situation that is currently ongoing in the Gaza Strip. What is the current situation for those living within the enclave?
Civilians, Palestinian civilians continue to be killed because Hamas is using hospitals, schools, and places of religious worship to hide and fight. What is important is for the Muslim and the Arab leaders to call Hamas to release the hostages, because Israel has all the right to mount operations to rescue its citizens and foreigners who were on Israel land when Hamas staged that brutal attack on October 7th that has led to this devastating war.
Rohan Gunaratne, thank you ever so much for joining us and providing your insight. Of course, the pain being felt by many inside the Gaza Strip is echoed by the families and loved ones and the people of Israel as hostages are still being held dead and alive. As developments continue in the Middle East and the Gaza Strip, we will be across all of those bringing you the latest updates.